This is Blair's portfolio, and this is going to be a video about BTCI. I know you're probably wondering, what does xdte has to do with BTCI? This is supposed to be a video talking about my review on BTCI. And the only way I can review ETFs is comparing it to other ETFs that I am more so interested in, all right? Now, I know these other YouTubers talk about the dynamics and the perspectives and all this stuff. I genuinely don't care about that. What I care about is comparing ETF to ETFs and what I'm using a specific ETF for. So, as this video goes on, it will make sense to you. And I will not use all the proper terms, but I promise you that I will put everything in layman's terms and you will understand exactly what the ETF is about and why I'm saying what I am saying. So I think that personally, for the average investor or people that aren't as invest savvy, are going to understand my videos a lot better than other people. So without further ado, let's get into the video. BTCI, I'm using that to replace xdte. And in fact, I'm not even owning any roundhill ETFs. The only roundhill ETF I think that is useful is MAGS, M-A-G-S. I know you guys are probably wondering, why are you saying that? I know you're a big advocate for xdte. And personally, I love xdte, but it does not fit my new strategy of never getting a margin call. And I wrote down these notes. I got all these notes, and we're going to go over this. But I want you all to understand the premise on why I'm doing what I'm doing, and then I'll get into the details. So BTCI is able to recover its NAV, all right? Better than xdte. And in fact, xdte can't really recover its NAV. And I'll explain later on in the video why it can't recover its NAV the way it's designed. BTCI is able to recover its NAV. So if you do my setup and margin, everything is times 4. I'm getting these huge distributions, and volatility doesn't matter because I can't get a margin call. Why on earth would I invest in xdte when BTCI can recover its NAV due to the volatility, and is also the way its calls are done on the ETF has higher upside? So theoretically, from my understanding, is that BTCI can fall down very low, I can pick it up, and then it can rally really far up, which means that I can take money out of my brokerage account and it can recover. xdte can't do such things. xdte is safer, sure, but why would I care about safety when all I need is time? I can't get a margin call and I have the time. So even if BTCI falls to 0 and I need it to recover, I'm not going to get a margin call. I'm still getting my dividends. And then it will recover eventually because Bitcoin is too volatile, and Bitcoin historically has always recovered. Not only that, but Bitcoin has historically always made a return every single year. Look at it. I don't think there was a single year that it did not make a profit. All right? Now, moving forward, let's get into some of these key points. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I sold all roundhill. I'm really thinking about going heavy in BTCI because I don't see any downside to it. I only see upside to it, and I get paid. So that's the main thing. I need these funds to recover. I don't need NAV erosion. I need them to recover. I don't care about volatility. I can't get a margin call. So 5 reasons why xdte is worse than BTCI. All right. I think that a lot of people are using xdte for the same reason that I'm using BTCI. So this is the BTCI review. Okay. I know you guys want to talk about why BTC. I should compare that to BTCI, but why BTC and xdte are extremely similar. They're almost identical. It's just that what they're doing their calls on are 2 different things. So this applies to YBTC as well. Now, xdte cannot recover NAV. BTCI can. xdte's NAV declines permanently because it sells daily ODTEs, cover calls that are capped on its upside, while still losing value in the market. So what that means is basically is that anytime the market goes up, xdte actually takes a loss. I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but I found this out myself. When the market goes up, xdte actually takes a loss. Sure, you might see the stock go up, but the market being flat is actually better for xdte than it going up. And then when it goes down in the market, right, it has a very hard time to recover from this. So sure, it will remake its dividend, but due to the market volatility, xdte will eventually go down because it's impossible for the market to constantly be in a bull run. All right. Does that make sense to you guys? BTCI, it doesn't matter because it always can recover and it has a much higher cap than xdte. So BTCI is better than both of those because everything I say for xdte also applies for ybtc, okay? Number two, xdte distributions are 100% of the premiums. Now you would think that this is good, right? Oh, great, awesome. But the problem with this is that because though it's only giving you all the premiums, it doesn't leave a lot of premium for the NAV. All right, guys? xdte pays out all option income, leaving nothing to maintain or grow the NAV. That's very important because if you want to hold this long term, you're going to need to be able to use your dividends. I learned this the hard way with YieldMax, that, yeah, you can need to use dividends, but you can't really use them. And don't get me wrong, xdte is a great fund, but it's not what I'm looking for. I want to use 100% of my distributions and have that NAV grow indefinitely because I understand now that NAV and your distributions are one and the same. All right, guys? BTCI reinvests part of its option premiums, helping sustain NAV while still paying massive dividends. Like I said, you cannot get a margin call. I don't understand why anyone will invest in anything. The main thing you want to invest in are things that can recover as NAV. Who cares about volatility? I can't get a margin call. Number three, xdte suffers in bull markets. And you would think that it wouldn't. But if you look into the prospectus and how the fund is designed, it's true. BTCI benefits from them. xdte loses when the S&P rises because its calls gets exercised, forcing it to sell at a loss. It's basically the structure of xdte and how it's able to give these high dividends every single week. You might see it go up, but it actually hurts the ETF. This is how it's designed, unfortunately. BTCI wins when Bitcoin rallies as NAV increases alongside Bitcoin's price. So BTCI is literally investing into Bitcoin, but you get paid. And like I said, historically, Bitcoin has always made a profit. All right. And then xdte has no capital appreciation, hence because it gives out those high distributions. All right. BTCI does. xdte does not own stocks. And you guys have to remember, it may not seem like much, but synthetic calls replicate it, but there's a limit to it. And the problem with it being a limit to it is that there's very certain things in the prospectus that always make it lose NAV. All right. And if you want to know specifically and perfectly what it is, that's not this video. This video is telling you everything in layman's terms so you can have an understanding on things. Because most people don't understand what these YouTubers are talking about. They don't. And they invest in like, oh, you're wrong, jargon. I'm investing into it. Well, I'm telling you in layman's terms. All right. So Bitcoin or BTCI holds an appreciating Bitcoin, ETPs, which means it has long-term growth potential. So, like I said, if it falls to zero, I'm confident, and in its prospectus, it can go all the way back up to where it was before. It is a cap on it, that is true, but the way it's designed, it can 100% recover from its NAV, or the down part. So you have a Bitcoin winter, it will 100% recover, which means you can use your distributions indefinitely. So basically, you're getting paid to watch your account bounce up and down. Who cares? We can't get margin calls, guys. Who cares? Moving on to the next one. Number 5. xdte is a NAV death trap. Why do I say that? It is a NAV death trap because over the course of time, you have to reinvest something back into it. And that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to reinvest anything, really. And how my portfolio is structured is that I'm able to grow as NAV while simultaneously taking out of it. And I need these things to grow. Hence why I invest in SCHG and SCHD, because I'm kind of doing a manipulation tactic here, all right? I'm not going to sell these, okay? I don't really care. I'm just going to let these grow indefinitely, so grow my portfolio. And then for stuff like Bitcoin, go up and down, don't really care. I'm just taking my profit. And then NAV will recover. That's how it works. So, where are we, guys? So it's a death trap, right? So eventually it'll fall down because that's how it is. So long as the market is volatile, xdte has a very hard time, if any, to recover. Mathematically, you look at the math, it can't recover. So it is a NAV death trap. And I like xdte. I like roundhill. I love what they stand for. But I'm here to make money. I don't know about you guys. Next one is BTCI. It's not, all right? xdte's structure ensures it bleeds NAV over time, making it a bad long-term investment. And make sure that is clear. I am holding things forever. I don't want to sell anything. I don't want to reinvest anything. I need these to give me all the money. That's why I like the yield max until I realized yield max was a scam because it cannot recover as NAV. The trick here is getting dividends that are very high and letting it recover its NAV. Okay, if it recovers its NAV, then guess what? You actually made a real dividend. You got a real distribution because it recovered its NAV. That's how it works. All right, guys? So the dividend isn't free until it recovers its NAV. And nothing is better than BTCI with its volatility. Moving forward, BTCI, despite its volatility, can recover its NAV, making it a far better choice for sustainable high income. All right. So the final verdict is that BTCI is superior to all roundhill ETFs. That includes xpay. There is no reason to invest in these because these will lose its value over time. And if you're putting stuff on margin and you aren't using the margin call setup where you can't get margin calls, then yeah, maybe BTCI isn't really ideal for you. But for me and my investments or how I set my portfolio up, I don't care about volatility at all. I don't care if I lost 50% in a day. Give me my dividend. All right, it's going to recover at some point. I can't get a margin call. Who cares? You guys get what I'm saying now? So BTCI is the better long-term investment because it holds assets that can grow, while xdte is doomed to decline due to its structure. All right, and that goes for all roundhill ETFs. So I'm trying to make my reviews a little bit different when I do these, I guess, ETF reviews. I'm going to compare it to other things and tell you my own personal reasoning for this. I'm not going to tell you guys all the prospectus and what it invests in and what it does and just read off of stuff. Watch another YouTuber for that. I'm not that guy. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what matters to what I believe to most people and what they're actually using these for in real time. So that's pretty much the review of BTCI. I think that it's a great fund. I think that NEOS overall is better than Roundhill for long term, especially if you're on margin. If you're on margin, you can. Who cares if the yield is 10%? Just buy a bunch of it. It's better to buy a bunch of something that is superior than to buy a little of something that is inferior. We have to think smart, guys. And I'll always say this. I'll always leave it with this. Bulls eat, bears eat, but pigs get slaughtered. Leave your max alone.